Okay, maybe I'm missing something, but okay. All right, so Chris Eubank Jr. wins a unanimous decision over Connor Ben in a very competitive. Um, you know, I thought I thought that it was either a draw or maybe you could have leaned towards, um, Connor Ben. I just thought Connor Ben was doing the best work the first 5 rounds of the fight. I do think that Eubanks Jr. made rally, but then I think there was a couple of rounds going into the last quarter of the fight that I think should have easily went to Ben, which would have gave him the decision 7 rounds to 5. It had looked like 8 or Chris Eubanks Jr. But I thought, or best case scenario, draw. I would have been okay with a draw. But I just thought that Ben did the best work, the first 5 rounds of the fight, landing that close quarters. He was clubbing, he was doing a lot of clubbing, but they were effective clubbing. And then I thought that Eubanks got hurt a couple of times in the fight. Now, towards, you know, the last couple of rounds, Eubanks did try to rally. He did hurt Conor Ben in the 12th with a hook, and it looks like he was on the stopping him, but that did happen, and basically the score went basically in Eubanks' favor. But I thought best case scenario, it could have been a draw, but I thought that Ben did enough to win the fight. But hey, I'm not a judge. I don't call these fights. What the hell do I know? But they do have a rematch clause, so definitely got to do this again. You know, they definitely got to run it back. I'm not the biggest fan of Conor, but at the end of the day, I can be objective. I thought that Conor Ben did enough to get the nod. I could see three scenarios. I could see 6-5 and one even for, or thought some of those rounds were too close to call. Um, or you could have went 7-5 in favor and it seemed like at times he was gassing out in his direction. So what can I say? But they got to do it again. They got to do it again. I'm not gonna say robbery. I'm not gonna say robbery, but I'll just say that I thought that Ben should have got the nod. But this is boxing for you. Sometimes boxing can be a popularity contest, or just sometimes the judge don't see what we're seeing. Because there's been a lot of question questionable decisions that have that had you just scratch your head and just make you wonder what were the judges looking at. But you know, um, like I said, I'm not a judge, but I thought it was a good fight. Both of these dudes were swinging for the fences for the most part. I did think that being sometimes in the fight that he wasted too much time. He was sometimes swinging way out of range, and he wasn't using his. He should have been trying to use his jab as a measuring stick to see how far distance there was between him and Eubanks, and he wasn't doing that. A lot of times he was just swinging for the fences, and for the most part of the fight, it did work because some of those leads were very nice that he was landing, those rights he was landing. But a lot of times he didn't follow him up. I think he should have tried to throw more combinations in the fight, but you know he fought. How can I say it? He fought a little too anxious, and that was the problem. But Eubanks at times he looked decent when he would go to the body. He'd have a decent jab. He landed a couple of meaningful uppercuts that bothered, but I don't think they hurt Eubanks. But I didn't think that he was dominating the fight. Neither one of these guys were in a position to where it looked like they were pulling away. I just thought it was one of those situations. Momentum was changing throughout the rounds and throughout the fight. But I thought for the latter, you know, I thought for the latter half of the fight, I think that Conor Ben maintained control because I thought the first half of the fight, I thought he easily won 5 out of the 6 rounds. And then, I mean, yeah. So, like I said, I don't, I don't do, I don't judge boxing. I cover it, but I don't judge it. So, hopefully, we see this again. Decent fight. Hope to see it again, but you never know. Because then these guys will say, okay, well, I got other plans. I got a better offer and all this kind of stuff. Hopefully, they run it back right away. You got Williams. Well, we'll just have to see. I really thought this fight should have went in Conor, but like I said, hopefully they run it back. There's enough there. It was enough. It was enough in the fight to where we would want to see it again and where it could be a different outcome. I think next time Conor Ben needs to show more patience because he just fought a little too anxious. Like, he was, it was just like he was just fighting on pure instinct instead of using boxing IQ. Every punch he threw, he wanted to try to end the fight, and he should have just tried to box more. But there you have it.